I've heard this talk and preached and everything else for a long time. Coming from my commentary, Zacchaeus, the publican, the little publican, climbing a tree. What will I see? All right, this is passage from Luke 19, 1 through 2. I'm going to read these quick verses here to get started. And Jesus entered and passed through Jericho. And behold, there was a man named Zacchaeus, who was the chief among the publicans, and he was rich. And he sought to see Jesus, who he was, and could not for the press, because he was committed of statue. And he ran before and climbed into a sycamore tree to see him, but he was fast that way. He looked up and saw him and said to him, Zacchaeus, make haste and come down, for the day I must abide at your house. And he made haste and came down and received him joyfully. And when he saw it, and they all murmured, saying that he was going to be a guest with a man that is a sinner. And Zacchaeus stood and said unto the Lord, Behold, Lord, the half of the goods I give to the poor, and if I have taken anything from man by false accusation, I restore him fourfold. And Jesus said to him, This day is salvation come to this house, for so much as he also is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man is come to seek and to save that which is lost. All right, the main thought. When Jesus came to the place, he looked up and said to him, Zacchaeus, hurry and come down, for I must stay at your house today. That's in Luke 19 and 5. I'm going to set this setting for you. And I'm pretty sure y'all can figure it out. Jericho, located in the plains of Jordan Valley near the Jordan River and the Dead Sea, and about 15 miles from Jerusalem, one of the oldest inhabited cities in the world. It was a thriving center of trade, commerce that attracted the wealthy. Its tropical climate, date palm trees, palm groves, sycamore trees, and fig and olive trees provided an oasis for aristocrats during ancient times. After the children of Israel entered Canaan, Joshua conquered Jericho. By the time of the New Testament, Judea and surrounding regions were under Roman control. During the reign of Herod the Great, Jericho was beautiful after the Romans plundered it. The Romans financed their empire by levying heavy taxes on all of the nations that it conquered. The taxes helped fund the Roman military and fractured and imperial governance. Jericho was a prosperous trade route hub, a place where tax collection was very significant. Tax collections played a significant, complex, and often controversial role with Jewish society. Jesus traveled through Jericho during his ministry to get to other locations in the regions, including Jerusalem. He was baptized by John, baptized in the Jordan River, which is located near Jericho. Jesus is on the final segment of his final earthly ministry. The crowd following Jesus at this point was very large, as his fame has grown, He met Zacchaeus, a Jew, chief tax collector, despised by the Jews for his dishonest gains through tax collection. Though his encounter with Zacchaeus, we learned Jesus' mission to seek and save the lost. We also learned that no one is beyond redemption. No one is beyond redemption. Y'all remember that? Now, unifying principle. Now, y'all listen to this. An unexpected encounter with someone you've never met before can result in transforming experience. What is about a new relationship that opens up the possibility of transformations in our lives. When Zacchaeus opened his home to Jesus as a special guest, he is transformed by the experience and becomes a follower of Jesus who does more than the law required. Now, a lot of us do. You know, you go through life and you meet a lot of people.
That's right.
And somebody you might not know, and you be listening to other people. Oh, that boy ain't no good. He done this, he done that, and y'all think that. Y'all think that, okay? I'm guilty. I done the same thing. Oh man, I heard about that boy. You know, you don't want to give him no ride, man. He go in the store, let it come out of there with something, and then you go to jail. You know, so but you know, until you get to know people.
That's true.
Till you get to talk with them.
That's right.
I was the same way. If it wasn't for the military, I probably locked up somewhere, because I was an angry young man. Until when I got to meet people and meet other people and talk to other people and rub elbows with them and get to know them, you know, all people ain't bad. You got some that's terrible, but all people ain't bad. So that's how they looked at the tax collectors. Now, I'm going to read this introduction. The story of Zacchaeus in Luke 19, 1 through 10 is one of the most compelling narratives of transformation in the Gospel of Luke. A chief tax collector in Jericho, Zacchaeus is both wealthy and despised due to his occupation, which was often associated with corruption, extortion. Now, don't that sound familiar? Don't that sound familiar?
Yes, sir.
Don't that sound familiar?
Yes, it does.
Okay, y'all shaking your head and say something. I know that sound familiar. However, its encounter with Jesus led to a radical transformation that demonstrates the power of divine grace, the depth of a true repentance, and the call of retroactive justice. That's the only somebody that's going to change it. Y'all, I know who you got going through your head. I know who I got going through my head. I ain't got to call no names. And the only way he going to get changed is that God going to have to change him. That's the only way he going to get changed, because he just, I call him DT. That's why I call him. And that's the name they call a pimp, DT. He's a pimp. He the pimped all the Republicans.
That's right.
Republicans do whatever he say do.
That's right.
Okay? That's why I look at it. Through this study of a man who was small in stature but large in humility, we will explore what Luke wants his audience to understand about healing, conversion, restoration, and justice, and what can be gleaned from Zacchaeus' enthusiasm to follow Jesus. The study also addresses Jesus' mission to seek and save the lost. No matter what people said about him, no matter what they said, but Zacchaeus had one mission. One mission. He wanted to meet Jesus. He don't care. Right. He wanted to meet him. And at that time, y'all know a lot of people was following Jesus. I mean, he had a crowd, man. He had done something. He had done miracles and stuff, and people wanted to get close to him. He was so short he couldn't see, so you know he climbed a tree to get to him. And his first outline is hungry for more. He was hungry for more. He wanted to know more. Luke records the life of Jesus with detail and order unlike the other gospel writers. He wants his audience to understand Jesus' mission and message for healing, conversion, restoration, and justice. In Jesus' final journey to Jerusalem, where he will be crucified, he would be crucified. He meets two men whose lives are forever changed. His encounter with them teach as an importance and focus on Jesus' mission to save the lost, least of these. As he near Jericho, Jesus met a blind beggar known as blind Bartimaeus, Mark 10 and 46. He recognized a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity before him. The beggar cries out for Jesus to have mercy on him, and he is healed at that very moment. That's another miracle they saw. He was healed just like that.
Yes, sir.
You know, just like the woman with the issue of blood. They you know, he was knocking people out the way. She was gonna get to him. They want to know what you trying to do.
That's
She knew all she had to do was just touch the hem of his garment. She was going, y'all know that. Y'all know what's happening. Continuing his journey, Jesus entered the city of Jericho, where he met Zacchaeus, a Jew, and a chief tax collector who was despised by the Jews for his dishonest tax collection practices. I always say that everything that's in the Bible is happening now. Okay? All you got to do is hear 3 letters, IRS. You hear the IRS and everybody, oh man, what they want. Why they calling me?
That's right.
Why they sending me something? You despise them. You get tired of them because they already taking money out your check.
Always.
You know, you work hard, and I remember get the first young man that got his check said, man, who is FICA? who is FICA? They ain't taking your money, son. He didn't know no better. It was his first job. He didn't know no better. Now, the encounter is not about the profession of collecting taxes. This is about the small stature. This is changed as a microism representing what Jesus came to do in this world. The backstory of Zacchaeus helps us to understand why his encounter with Jesus is so significant. Now, Rome required taxes from its conquered territories and used a system known as tax farming, where private individuals bid for the right to collect taxes in specific areas. Ain't that something? The bid for it. Whoever get the bid, go get that money. Ain't that something? Now Zacchaeus, a Jew, had contracted with Roman officials to be the chief tax collector in his district.
All right.
In Bible times, chief tax collectors has an important and often controversial position in society. Their role went beyond collecting money. The position they held was tied to political power, personal wealth, and significant social stigma. Chief tax collectors often bought the rights to collect taxes in a certain area from Rome authorities.
That's right.
Now check this out. For their compensation, they were allowed to collect more than the fixed tax amount. This was part of the Roman tax farming system. They would then hire local tax collectors to do the actual collecting while keeping a portion of the proceeds for themselves.
Yeah.
Now, don't that sound familiar?
Yeah.
You got a president that got side hustles.
Yes, sir.
I ain't never seen a president with side hustles selling Bibles. Got them upside down, don't even know how to look at the Bible. See what I'm saying? Selling dolls, selling little pistols with his name on it, selling dollars with his name on it. That's a side hustle. He's a hustler.
That's right.
He's a hustler.
That's right.
Now, y'all can laugh if you want to, but I'm telling the truth. I'm like I said.
And they allow it.
Jewish tax collectors were considered traitors among the Jews. Their work was both administrative and political. They were eyed with deep suspicion and contempt by the Jewish public. You couldn't help but look at them funny. They were often accused of dishonesty and collusion with Roman oppression. Now check this out now. Tax collecting was generally viewed as a shady business because the system was structured to support their greed and extortion. They often negotiated or bribed Roman officials for more favorable contracts.
Right.
They also added their own fee on top of the tax.
Yeah.
Terrorists. You know what I'm talking about?
That's it.
Them terrorists. That's what he done. He done terrorists to the other countries.
So did.
I know I'm on Facebook and YouTube, but I'm telling the truth. Because there were a few rules of transparency, corruption was rampant. Everybody was crooked. That's how they looked at Zacchaeus. One of the remarkable aspects of Zacchaeus' story is his eagerness, check this out, to see Jesus.
All right.
Despite his immense wealth and status, he clearly seeks more in an effort to obtain what he needs. The tax collector humbles himself in a way that is uncommon for someone of his position. Luke tells us that Zacchaeus was small in stature. Because he could not see over the crowd, he ran ahead and climbed up a sycamore tree. He must have been short. He was a short boy. Luke mentions Zacchaeus' height to show us his smallness in his eyes of society. That's how society looked at him, as a little short crook going around taking taxes and taking money from people. That's how they looked at him in the eyes of the society. He is the chief tax collector, despised by his own people, regarded as a traitor and aligned with Roman oppressors. The reference to his height also shows that Zacchaeus is physically and spiritually marginalized. He is looked down upon literally and figuratively. As corrupt as Zacchaeus is perceived to be, however, when he gets word that Jesus is near, he quickly finds a place where he can get a glimpse of the man he has heard so much about. Right. That was his goal. He evidently, when he climbed up that tree, he had got all the money he's going to get that day, and he wanted to see Jesus. He wanted to see Jesus. He wanted to see him. That's what he wanted to do. Jesus appeared obvious to the crowd's response, as perhaps he is even amused by it. Whatever the case, his response to Zacchaeus is not based upon the crowd's estimation of his dealings with the tax collectors or man himself. Jesus extends acceptance for Zacchaeus by personally addressing him and acknowledging his humanity and worth by going to his house. All right. In a society where he is despised, Jesus' act of public recognition is by bringing emotional and social healing. The Greek word for received, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but it's called hypodexato, implies a warm and hospitable welcome. All right. Zacchaeus wants a man defined by greed now open his home and heart to Jesus. This is the fruit of genuine repentance, a heart turned toward God with joy. That's in Acts 2:28. Jesus offers grace to Zacchaeus. His self-invitation reflects divine initiative of God's salvation plan. Now, how many of y'all gonna let somebody come in your house and say, come on in, I'm finna go in your house. Right. I'm coming over your house. Right. Okay? How many of y'all gonna let them folks in the house? I'm gonna say it ain't none of you gonna let them in the house. I know that, but not especially this time. And he's a tax collector too, he probably gonna come take everything you got. That's right. His self-invitation reflects the divine initiative of God's salvation plan. God seeks the lost before they even realize their needs for him. By dining with Zacchaeus, Jesus shatters the cultural and religious norms that dictated who is considered worthy of fellowship. This act of inclusion reinforced Jesus' mission. For the Son of Man comes to seek and to save the lost. Jesus wanted Zacchaeus to know that he was loved and accepted, and that God's forgiveness and salvation was for him also. It don't matter what you've done or what you do or what you are doing. God knows, and if you ask for forgiveness, you will be forgiven. All right. He's going to help now. Check this out now. Transformed by his grace, have been extended his miserable grace. Zacchaeus' transformation is imminent and dramatic. His heart is changed just like that, instantly. And he makes a tangible demonstration of the change that he occurred within. The utter generosity of Zacchaeus' action revealed his depth of his repentance. Look, half of my possessions, Lord, I will give to the poor. And if I have defrauded anyone of anything, I will pay back 4 times as much. That's a tax collector now. He's been changed. He's been changed. Okay? And that's the only way this other person gonna be changed. God got to get into his heart. Before his encounter with Jesus, Zacchaeus' wealth had been an instrument of exploitation. Now it becomes a means of generosity and justice. Without prompting from Jesus, Zacchaeus indicates his desire to make things right with those whom he has cheated. If I had cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount. And as much money as he made from them people, that's a lot of money. That's right. So he had to have a lot of money. That's right. Oh, man. Okay. That's right. And that's yes. Yeah. For him, true repentance means measurable change. First, he pledges to give half of his goods to the poor. The man who was consumed by greed is now immersed in generosity. His actions align with the biblical call to care for the marginalized. And that comes in Proverbs 9:17 and James 1:27. In addition to support for the poor, Zacchaeus vows to repay anyone he has defrauded fourfold, exceeding the Old Testament's requirement. His offer for restitution reflects genuine remorse and a desire to make amends and a heart that sincerely wants to change. His also acknowledges Jesus as Lord. And so doing, Zacchaeus demonstrates that his faith is not only intellectual but also transformative. For him, God acknowledges Jesus. For For him, Lord acknowledges Jesus' authority and his submission to it. His every action confirms the sincerity of his faith. Is there something? Now, Jesus responds to Zacchaeus' repentance with a declaration that must have been most unexpected. Today, salvation has come to the house. This Lord is rich in theological significance. The key of salvation is immediate as today, emphasizes the present reality of God's kingdom. Not only is the once unscrupulous tax collector blessed, but also this house. Jesus' blessing extends beyond Zacchaeus to his entire household, reflecting the communal nature of God's grace. That's God's grace. It's like the song Mary sang, God's grace. God's grace. His deliberate uses the term son of Abraham to refer to Zacchaeus. Jesus acknowledges his inclusion in the covenant community despite his past. The concept of inclusion is further explained in Paul's teaching that faith, not ethnicity of works, defines the true children of Abraham. Jesus concludes his summary of his ethic mission to seek and to save the lost. This verse is the thematic heart of Luke's gospel and the entire biblical narrative. The word seek and save escalate his mission. To seek and save. The lost encompasses all who are spiritually aligned from Jesus, regardless of their social and moral status. The lost people of the world are targeted of the Great Commission, which called believers to participate in Jesus' mission of seeking the lost. You know, I don't know why, man. It just sticks to me. You go to church enough and you hear different teachers teach, and you know, you hear different preachers preach. But I done said this once. Y'all probably remember it. I had a lot of respect for this man, Mr. Jesse Smith. And before Sunday school started, he would go to the Silver Grill. He would go to the barber shop. He'd go in the pool hall, and they'd invite people to church. I ain't gonna call this deacon's name, but one of the deacons got up before Sunday school opened. Jesse was in the pool hall. Jesse was in the Silver Grill. Jesse was what he's supposed to be in church. Mr. Jesse got up and said, "Yeah, I was there." He always told me this: if you can go in a place of Christian to come out of Christian, you ain't done nothing wrong. You go in and you invite people, you know, no matter where you at. If you can go in that place of Christian and come out of Christian, you ain't done nothing wrong. I never forget that. I never forget that. You know, it's something that sticks with you. Something that sticks with you. You know, the lost encompasses all who are spiritually aligned from God. Zacchaeus, though previously aligned in publicity, confirmed as a member of God's covenant people. Jesus' affirmation countered the community's negative perception of Zacchaeus. That day, a grace lesson was learned by everyone. Everyone. No one is beyond redemption in God's sight. Nobody. I don't care. Nobody. I don't care what you've done, or what you say you is, or what you go by. Maybe I listen to too many preachers. Too many. But get interested, and I listen to them until I said, man, that's enough. I don't want to hear nothing else he got to say right now. But it was one preacher that was talking, and I'll get that to the end. I'm going to go to the lesson applied. Jesus boldly declares his mission through his experience at his house, to save the least and the lost. One does not need to look very far or very long to find the least of these, those who are social outcasts who have been forgotten by society. You see them every day. Every day you see them. And some people say, look at it. Crazy. Walking around talking to herself, sitting over there, asking for this and asking that. You don't know what them folks been through. You don't know what's wrong with them. You don't know. But people look down on them. You don't do that.
That's right.
These persons may be wealthy or poor, young or old, genius level or intellectually challenged. Jesus came to save them all. He came to save the forgotten, those who are social outcasts, those who are desperate to meet him. Broadly speaking, the lost symbolizes those who are vulnerable, marginalized, or in need, those who are rejected, forgotten, and hungry for a deeper meaning in life. Zacchaeus' salvation experience enriched with spiritual lessons that speaks to the heart of Jesus' mission and our response to his call. The story teaches us about the healing power of divine acceptance, the necessity of genuine conversion to importance, restoration, justice, and the joy of following Jesus with enthusiasm. Be enthused when you talk to Jesus. Whoever you talk to him about, you be enthused. You have smile or something, man. You make it give a feel good. So through Zacchaeus, Luke shows us that salvation is available to all. And the true encounter with Jesus results in tangible, measurable life changes that can include, check this out, generosity, restitution, integrity, and justice. Although the crowd judges Zacchaeus and tries to block his view as Jesus is passing by, try to block the man's view, he does not let naysayers hinders keep him from seeing Jesus or accepting his invitation. No matter what they did, he got to him. Jesus got to him first, but then he's got a chance to get to him. People may doubt another person's worthiness, but their opinion should never impede the progress of one who was seeking to know Jesus. Through Zacchaeus, Jesus demonstrates that grace comes before change. Jesus invites himself into Zacchaeus' home and heart before Zacchaeus promises to change. He got in his heart before Zacchaeus even said anything. He changed his heart just like snapping your finger. Zacchaeus was small in stature, but Jesus saw his spiritual hunger. God doesn't measure people by outward appearances or social status. He looks at the heart and sees what we can become in him. Look for that heart. That's that beat. That's that beat. Everybody needs to be on one beat. Everybody needs on one beat. Now, let's talk about this. Is there a place in your life where failure still speaks louder than grace? Will you allow Jesus to transform your life today? If you got anything in your life that's bugging you more than getting close to God or the grace, or getting in I call it back into the ark of safety. A lot of people has been baptized and had been out of church, and they come to church and they come, I call it take the chair. They want to get back into God's grace. They want to get back into, safety. That's right. Safety. Everybody. I talked to a young man, and God bless him, he didn't go. Now, the kid I grew up with, I bumped into him at the doctor's office, going through the same situation. I talked to him, his name was Gary Hubbard. Called him Hobo. I said, Hobo, how you doing? He said, doing pretty good, man. I just come in to get checked. Yeah, I come to get checked too, Hobo. We get old, man. We the senior citizens now. We getting old. We gotta take care of ourselves. We gotta get checked out. And I got ready to go and said, Hobo, you got a church home? I asked him that. Because I know Mr. Jesse kept him in church and everything. Oh, Hobo, get you a church home, man. Get you a church home. He's gone. I don't know if he ever got in church or not. You never know. You never know when, where, who, what, when, where, why, how, or what's going to happen. You don't know. Okay? And a lot of people call themselves Christians. A lot of people call themselves Christians. I said, I listened to this preacher, and he said, this country, I'll tell you what he said. I didn't say this, but it sounded good. He said, this nation has never been a Christian nation. I sit there and listen to him. I listened to him. I said, what this cat? He said, a Christian nation would not have killed Native Americans. A Christian nation would not have enslaved people for free labor. You know what I'm saying? A Christian nation would not have had a war to try to decide slavery. In that Christian nation, 500,000 people was killed in your own country because, or one wanted slavery and one didn't. You're not living in a Christian nation, and you're still not living in a Christian nation. What's, he said this now, I didn't. What's going on in the White House? It's not a Christian nation.
All right.
Until God gets involved.
That's it.
You know, they can sit around NATO table, they can sit around all the tables they want to sit around, but if God ain't at that table, it ain't nothing gonna work. Just something like that. Just something like that. You know, and it goes back to a old song, there will never be any peace. And there will never be any peace unless God is at the conference table. You know, a lot of people say, well, Joe, you listen to a lot of music. I said, yeah, man. I listen to certain music because blues music and gospel music coincide. That's me. I don't care what y'all think, but that's what I think. Okay? When you're out there working in them fields like they was working, wasn't allowed to learn how to read, wasn't allowed to learn how to write, didn't have no church. They just sat beside the creek somewhere up under shade tree. And if you get caught, then you know what's going to happen. They were singing church songs.
That's right.
When they finally get a day off from the fields, they're happy. But they singing the blues. I tell you, man, y'all, you know, I could sit here and tell you a lot of stuff, but it's up to y'all. A lot of little white kid asked this question to another black kid. Why every time they say slavery, y'all get upset, y'all get mad? The white kid said, well, you know, you're not going to forget it. Would you forget it if that was you? If they done your people like that, would you forget it? Then the black kid shocked me. He said, the Jews, they celebrate the Holocaust every year. They celebrate the Holocaust. What did Hitler do to them? Put them in the gas chamber, burn them up, and everything. But they celebrate that because there ain't going to be no more.
That's right.
Okay? Now, I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to say this. And, I always throw a little history in there every time I talk. July the 4th, 1776. They got the United States got their independence. Right. You know, the United States of America, land of the free, the home of the brave. They shooting their firecrackers, they shooting their bills, they having a good time. The same day, thousands and thousands and thousands of black slaves marched to the auction block. The same day, they celebrating their independence. Yes, these folks going to the auction block. Yes. Babies taken from their mamas. Wives taken from their husbands. Right. Families separated and split up. It ain't nothing for us to celebrate, but we still celebrate it. I get me some barbecue, but shooting firecrackers and stuff like that, I ain't done that in a long time. I see the kids do it, but they don't know. They don't know because they're not teaching you any of this in school, and it's against the law to even mention it. In Florida, Louisiana, it stopped in Little Rock. But if you want to learn, I thank God for them black teachers that taught me how to read. When they taught me how to read, they just opened my, I try to read everything I get my hands on. It might not have been coming from a library or whatever, but the main books back in the day, whenever I saw one laying around, was an Ebony magazine, was a Jet magazine, okay? You see them, I didn't need no haircut, but I would go to Mr. A.C. Barbershop. He have a Jet magazine sitting over there, and a Ebony magazine. I didn't need no haircut, but I sit there in the chair and I read. I'm reading. I'm reading about what's going on. That's how you kept up with what was going on in this country. But that's up to you all to do that. But right now, I'm gonna throw this in, Yank. Y'all better go vote. Y'all better go vote.